Hello everyone and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. The series lives on yet again. And it has been a while since the last episode. And I can't hide how long ago this particular video was recorded. As you can see in the top right, it says the date right there. It's the 9th of March. And today, at the time of doing the voiceover, it is the 30th of September. So that's more than 6 months between those dates, but we're not going to worry about that for now, and we're just going to get cracking. I do plan on continuing this series. I've just been distracted by F1 22 coming out, and I've been having some problems with that game recently, and then I have also been doing a few Minecraft videos, as you may have seen. But anyway, back with Gran Turismo today, and the first task of the day is to collect another 3 cars in our next menu book, and this one is a collection of Supras, which makes me very happy. Supras are awesome. We have to get the Supra 3.0 GT Turbo A from 1988, along with the Supra RZ from 1997 and the GR Supra RZ from 2020, a brand new one. So 3 pretty awesome cars to collect, so without further ado, let's just get cracking. And to unlock these 3 Supras, we are going to need to race in the race of turbo sports cars, and the first one of those races is in Brazil. We're going to be using the Nissan R32 GTR because it is just awesome, so let's just get into it. Alrighty then, so here we go for the race down in Brazil, and we need to make our way up from 16th on the grid. Large field in this one, and of course we are going to try to take victory. Just 5 laps to get the job done, so let's see what we can do here. Immediately gaining very quickly on the car in front. Bit of avoiding action taken there as we go off the road, but coming back on and we're way clear. So yes, we have good pace versus the back markers in this race, so hopefully that is a good sign that we can make our way through the field. Usually the cars starting at the front are much faster though, as we make our way now onto the second short straight. You can see we've got very good straight line speed, which is great too. But anyway, let's focus on these 2 ahead who are battling side by side. We're going to see if we can get a 2-for-1 deal here as we have a look to go up the inside of both of them. We're going to go for it. Not much space given there. We take to the grass and the curbs to get it done, but we are through. And now we shift our attention to the next car, a little Yaris there, and we make our way around the outside of him and move ourselves up another position. That's 4 places gained in the first half lap as we drop a wheel in the dirt, and the Yaris gets us back, but we immediately grab that once again and move ourselves ahead. And now we are, oh, that was a little bit close, but we get past and now move ourselves up into 11th position. Bit of a gap in front of us, so let's try and make that up. Start of lap 2 now, and we have a whole cluster of cars, and we actually just ram into the back of them this time. Instead of trying to take avoiding action around the outside, we get through anyway, and now absolutely flying through the field. That's already 3 places gained on this lap. Make that 4 as we go around the outside and make that move as we run a little bit wide on the exit, but we're up into 7th position. We'll soon make that 6th. We are absolutely flying and make that one, and now we might get 5th here. Big dive up the inside, and we back out of that one slightly, but we still have enough speed to get it done, and we move ourselves into the top 5, not a lap and a half into this race. We move on again then into the end of lap 2, and you can see the top 4 right in front of us, or top 3 now, and it's about to become the top 2 as we make our way onto the podium around the outside. And now just 2 cars between us and the lead. The straight line speed we have is ridiculous. This is just easy as we go blazing along the main straight. We'll soon be taking the lead here down the inside into the first corner. Later on the brakes, not quite actually getting there, but we'll get it done through the corner itself and take the lead as we begin lap 3 of 5. Let's just move on to the end. And so on to the main straight for the final time then. As we come towards the line, it is going to be race victory here in Brazil. with this crazy GTR. This thing is just unstoppable. So yeah, I love this car. It just handles so nicely. It's very, very quick. Awesome. Anyway, that is first place for us in the first race of turbo sports cars, or whatever this was called. Yeah, there it is, race of turbo sports cars. And that is good. Trophy and money coming in. What do we get for this one? 35,000 into the bank. A bunch of miles as well, not that they do too much at this point. And there is the first of our cars, the 1988 Supra, and a nice bunch of collector score point things as well. Alrighty, on to the next one, which is at Circuit de Sainte-Croix or something. I don't know French, but anyway, let's just get into it then as we head to the countdown. Alrighty then, and just like I don't know how to pronounce the name, I don't know how to drive this circuit. Not a familiar one to me, so this could be an interesting race. But anyway, we will see how this goes as we are going to probably find this one a little bit more difficult. Obviously, I'm very familiar with the Brazil circuit from the Formula 1 games, have done dozens of races there, but this one I will be lucky to have done a handful, maybe on GT Sport or earlier on in this game. But anyway, let's see how this goes. We are still by miles the fastest car, so that should help us out as we get a little bit on the grass there. Upsets the rear end, but we managed to keep control of things as we've moved ourselves up into 13th position already. So not a bad start as we head over the bridge. This is a very nice suspension bridge, by the way. I like this bridge. It's a good bridge. But anyway, let's stop looking at the scenery and focus on the racing, because we have a nice big corner here to focus on as we exit the bridge and back onto the road, and we will make another spot there up into P11. So going alright so far. Big downhill right-hander here, kicking in with a lot of understeer, car quite unstable through there, so that's going to take some getting used to, but I'm sure we will in due course. But still making gains, and you can see another position gain there up into 10th place now. So yeah, this is going okay. Long, well, not long, but very kind of awkward right-hander there, and very sort of open. But anyway, we head into another braking zone, into the shadows here. Very tricky to spot markers there, but anyway, we managed to survive that corner, and now we've got a bit of a gap to the next car, but we should be able to make that up pretty easily. This section of the track is very fast, which suits our car very well, and you can see we are making significant gains, and we're going to try and find a way through here. We might just squeeze to one side or the other. We'll go to the left and find our way through there, and that moves us up now into 8th position. So decent start for us as we go a little bit deep into the final corner, and that is the first lap in the books. So let's hope we can continue to make some more positions throughout the rest of this race, which is a lap shorter than the one in Brazil. We continue through the race then, and eventually make our way up into 7th position, but the cars are seeming very spaced out in this race, and I have a feeling we may have some tougher competition in this one than we did in the Brazil race. So we'll have to see how that goes, but yeah, we are certainly not catching the field at anywhere near the rate we were back in Brazil. So we're in 7th now. We'll soon be up to 6th as we head over the bridge and are in pursuit of another car here. But yeah, we are not absolutely flying through the field at the same rate we were before. So this could be quite an interesting one. And I wasn't looking at the mini-map at the time, but it does look like there is a car getting away from the field somewhat at the front. So that could make things difficult as well. But anyway, we're up into 6th position now, soon to make that 5th as we go around the outside. Bit of a bump with the wall there, but we make our way up into 5th, and we can see the podium in front of us as that car there is very shiny. we make our way past though and up into 4th, and the podium is now right there. So let's see if we can move ourselves onto it as we head through this right-hander. It's quite awkward, that corner. It's on the edge of grip in a kind of strange way. But anyway, into the braking zone, and probably slowing things down a bit too much there. And we need to be pushing because, like I said, there's some sizable gaps in front of us to make up. So we'll see what we can do as we do slide to the inside and make our way through around the outside and through this windy and hilly section of the circuit. We make our way up onto the podium. Just 2 cars left in front of us with 2 laps left in the race. Let's see if we can chase them down as we go very deep again into the final corner. So we need to work on that one. So let's just keep pushing on. Later on during the 3rd lap, we do catch up to the 2nd place car as we head through this long downhill right-hander, and we go around the outside trying to carry the speed. We'll switch it back to the inside for the exit, and we'll take 2nd position there. But you can see the race leader is absolutely miles ahead, so this will take some kind of monumental effort to catch up to the race leader from here, but we'll give it our best shot as we head a little bit too deep into that corner, and that's what I've been worried about. Thankfully we saved it that time, but it could be a very difficult section. If it goes wrong, that could be a very big spin and crash into the wall there, so we'll have to watch out for that. But anyway, we're up to 2nd. Let's see if we can chase down the leader on the final lap. So on to the end of the final lap then, and as much as we've been trying to light up the timing sheets with purple, we are going to maybe just fall slightly short. You can see the race leader in front of us, but we're coming up to the final corner, and I'm not sure we're going to have enough. We throw it in, try to carry the speed, and we are very, very close, but we're just not quite there, and it seems like they have a bit more straight line speed than we do, so there's no hope for us from here, and it's only 2nd position at R35. Very quick in a straight line, as you would expect it to be, but P2 for us, which means we need to do this again. You know the rules if you've been following along. We need to win every race. We haven't lost a race so far, so no matter what it takes, we have to come away with the victory. We do get a clean race bonus for that one though, and a decent amount of money for it, but yeah, we're going to need to go again. Let's do it. Oh, we actually do get the car. I completely forgot about the car. At this point, I've been paying attention to the race. We get the 2020 Supra for that one, but yeah, we still need to get the win. Unfortunately for us, the 2nd attempt does not go any better than the 1st, but on attempt number 3, we do finally catch the race leader early enough to make a move, and we will do that very shortly, carrying the speed through these corners, and we will slide through on the inside there and just try and maintain control of the car through the bumps as we head now towards the final corner. And this should be nice and easy from here. All we need to do is manage this last corner, which we do for the very first time, and not run way too deep. And we have a clear shot straight to the finish line now as we come across the line to finally win here at Circuit de Saint-Croix B or something. Anyway, yeah, race win finally there. So that means we can move on to the final race of this trio. We can work on getting that last Supra. So let's get to it and see where the final race is. Alrighty, so the final race of this trio is at the Suzuka Circuit up in Japan. An awesome track, one I'm sure we all know well because it's been not only in the Formula 1 games but in basically every other racing game in history. But anyway, we get going for the race here at Suzuka, 5 laps of this circuit, so let's get into it. Love this track, so we should be able to have a good race here as we go around the outside and immediately move ourselves up into 15th position on the exit of the first corner. Now into the S curves, and we are going to be trying to make moves here. Very difficult in Formula 1, but when you have as much grip as we do in this R32, even this right-hander, which is called a Gyaku bank, which means off camber, it seems like there is all the grip you will ever need. But anyway, now finding our way through the field as we have a look to the outside and immediately moving ourselves up into 12th position in the first third to half a lap as we now head under the bridge for the first time. One of the cool things about this track, and not a lot of circuits have crossovers. Suzuka and Oran Park are the only ones that I can think of off the top of my head, unless you include the pit exit in Abu Dhabi, and Oran Park doesn't even exist anymore. So yeah, Suzuka is very unique in that aspect. I'd love to know actually if there are other figure of 8 circuits in the world. I would be very curious. I think there's probably some oval circuits where the road course version goes under the track. I'm not sure if that's a thing that I've seen before. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. But yeah, let me know. Other figure of 8 circuits, I'd love to find out. But anyway, we are currently sitting still in 12th position, trying to gain ground on the 11th place car further up the road, and with our straight line speed we are doing that. And 130R, I mentioned it earlier, a lot more of a challenge in this than it is in a Formula 1 car, but we can carry so much speed through there with our racing soft tyres on, and we gain 2 spots between 130R and the Casio Triangle, which is very nice. But anyway, final corner now, and we complete our first lap, and we are up into the top 10 already, so it should be a fairly decent race for us. We'll see if we can continue to make our way through the field. They're running side by side up ahead, back to single file by the time they get to the first corner. We'll see if we can sneak through on the inside. We'll make a space there. There wasn't going to be one, but we're through and up into 9th, soon to be 8th if we can keep things under control here. It's still a little bit sketchy trying to make overtakes through this part of the circuit as we try and go around the outside of the GTR there and just about keeping it on the track. The thing is, if you drop a wheel in the dirt, as we're about to do here, it can be quite disastrous. We got away with it in that situation, but it can easily lead to a spin. Thankfully this car is 4-wheel drive, so it can handle getting a little bit of grass on the tyres, and it's not too bad. But anyway, as we continue to push on, we are still gaining ground and up into 8th position as we head to the inside of this awkward little right-hander. Very awkward when you're surrounded by about 4 other cars, but we managed to navigate our way through there, and if we can get some decent power down here, we'll just about maintain 5th position. So a lot of places gained in that little sequence, and we might even get up to 4th on the exit of Spoon, maybe, if we can get a good run, or maybe even on the entry to Spoon. We go for the move. No, we're too far back there, but we may be able to get it on the exit. As we look around the outside, we'll see if we can cut back to the inside, push them through the corner, and we're through and up into 4th place. So good progress through the field so far, as we can see the podium in front of us, and we're only approaching the end of lap 2. So I think we will have enough to win this one a little bit easier than the St. Croix race, but let's see as we go down the inside of the Casio Triangle once again, and that's up into the podium places for us. 2nd place is right in front of us now as we put the power down onto the main straight and through the very slight final corner. Not really a problem, that one, and we move ourselves up into 2nd. Let's go ahead and chase down the leader. We move on then to the final lap of the race, and you can see the leader up ahead, but we're not gaining fast enough versus the leader to catch up. So I'm afraid we may have to resort to some very old school Gran Turismo tactics if we want to take victory here, as we head into the Casio Triangle, and we make an absolutely beautiful overtake there and move ourselves up into the lead through the final few corners now and onto the main straight. For the final time, we're going to take victory here at the Suzuka Circuit, and that is 3 from 3 in this little series of races, and our collection of Supras will now be complete. That guy will probably need a new Supra, but that's not our problem at the moment. But anyway, job done here at Suzuka, and that is 1st place for us. And yeah, that is Another 35,000 credits in the bank. We are accumulating quite a lot, almost up to 400k for us there, so that is nice. And there is our shiny new car, or somewhat old car. It's like 25 years old. But anyway, we're not going to worry about that because our collection is now complete, which means we can head back to the cafe. So there we go, collection Supra completed. Nice. Let's see what Luca has to say about this. Hey, congratulations, you've got all 3 cars. This completes your Supra collection. I don't know what accent that was, it was slightly strange, but anyway. 4-star roulette ticket. Let's see what Luca has to say about these cars. But first we will spin this roulette ticket and see what we can earn from this one. It's 4 stars, so surely this one has to be good. Let's see what we get. What is that? Okay, we get a carbon propeller shaft for a Corvette ZR1 C6 for 2009, from 2009. Interesting. Now I'm going to have to buy one of those. Alrighty, so with that distraction out of the way, we're back at the cafe. So here we go then, collection Supra. The Toyota Supra has long been a firm favourite among those who love sports cars. Known for combining a powerful straight-six engine with a rear-wheel drive layout, it is faster and more powerful than its fellow Toyota, the 8.6. It also contains plenty of the essence of the 2000 GT, the legendary Toyota that first appeared in the 1960s. The Supra also has a long association with motorsports. For example, the A70 Supra from 1986 took part in domestic touring car races in Japan, as well as international rally events. Its successor, the A80, made its debut in 1993. It would go on to make waves far beyond its Japanese homeland, even appearing at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. The Supra gained an extra level of global fame when it was featured in the Fast and Furious movie franchise. Sales of the A80 were discontinued in 2002, meaning that this GR Supra is the first Supra in 17 years. Developed in collaboration with BMW, it's a whole new Supra for a whole new generation. And there is our next menu book, Championship World Touring Car 600. Alright, I'll be curious to see what this one is all about. Do we have time for it today? Yeah, we probably do. We'll see how many races are in it. But anyway, there it is, World Touring Car 600. Let's open up the book and see what all this is about. Alrighty then, so here we go, World Touring Car 600, and the first race is at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. We then move on to Suzuka in Japan, and then we finish the season at Dragon Trail in Croatia. So we are going all over Eurasia for this one. Let's just get into it then. and get this race started up. It looks like we may have some rainy conditions to contend with in this one, so that could make things very interesting. We have the car for the job though. We're still in the R32, which of course has four-wheel drive. Let's get into it. So here we go then, race 1 at the Red Bull Ring, and it is raining. We are on the intermediate tyres, which I believe have the same performance as the Sports Soft, which I find very interesting, but we may get into that later on. But we have our work cut out for us in this one, starting down in 16th position. We've already gained one spot and moved ourselves up into P15, but there is plenty of work to do in this one. In a 5-lap race of a relatively short circuit, we will have it all to do. So let's try and focus on getting through the field as cleanly and quickly as possible in these wet conditions. This car should be very good in the traction zones, and as I mentioned, we have the right tyres on the car, which I'm not sure what the other drivers in this race are running, but it seems like we have some pretty decent grip. Just playing it cautious in the early phases of this one, just to make sure we can get through the race cleanly, and hopefully we will have a good enough pace to just naturally find our way through the field. We've only moved our way up into 14th so far, so hopefully we can make some more progress in the near future. We have a cluster of cars in front of us that we should be able to clear very soon. We go around the outside and find a bit of a window there as we are trying to find gaps in the spray to place the car, and we just about find our way through there and manage to move our way up into 11th position as we round the final two corners of the first lap. We may be able to gain a few more here. There's a whole line of cars here actually as we go for a later apex to get the power down, and everyone being held up by the Alfa Romeo there through the final corner, and we've managed to get all of those positions up into 8th now, so we've halved our position in a single lap. We might be in the lead by the end of lap 2 if this progress continues. We'll see, but we still have 7 cars left in front of us as we make our way up towards turns 2 and 3 once again. We've got the R35 right alongside. We're going to box him in there and make 2 passes for the price of 1 on the way up to turn 3, and that moves us up and into 6th position. So 5 cars to go in front of us, and a couple of them are right there, so this shouldn't be too much longer until we make some more overtakes. The spray can get very difficult to see through. We've got a bit of an air gap before we get into that at the moment, but I don't want to get stuck in the spray through the mid sector, but it looks like that might happen. We're going to see if we can make our way around the outside, but we just don't have quite the grip to make it all the way around there, and now the spray is almost impossible to see through. Thank goodness we have the name tags above the cars. That really helps. But anyway, we make a move up the inside, and we take it to the grass to make sure we can clear those guys, and that moves us up into 4th position. So good progress so far, and we now have the podium in sight just around the next corner, so we should be able to grab that one potentially by the end of the lap with the progress we've been making so far. This car is absolutely on rails in these conditions, and looks like everyone else, probably the ones in rear-wheel drive cars more so, are struggling. We're into the lead, straight into the lead as we enter and travel through turn 9. Everyone's so slow on the entry there, and in just 2 laps we've managed to take the lead of this one. So with the hard part out of the way, let's move on to the end. So out of the final corner then, we are going to head towards the finish line, and this is a fairly dominant victory for the R32 GTR as we come across the line to take the win here in Austria, the Red Bull Ring. In the wet conditions, there is no matching this car, and we absolutely smashed the field. What an amazing car this is. I can't stress that enough in these conditions. Clean race bonus as well. Didn't make any contact with the other cars. And we now move on to race 2 of the championship. This one at Suzuka, a very different circuit. Red Bull Ring, fairly stop and start. Suzuka, much more flowing, so this could be much more of a challenge. We're underway already though, as we now get set for this one. Let's see how this goes. We're on the Sport Soft compound of tyre now, which, as I mentioned I think earlier on, it has the same performance in terms of the PP of the car as the intermediate tyres as we go off-roading there, backwards into the sand. That's not particularly productive for us, and that's cost us some time, and we haven't been able to move ourselves up from last position. We've done the same thing at the next corner. My goodness, this first lap is not going well. Hopefully we can lift our game through the rest of the race. But yeah, the car not quite as happy on this circuit as it was at the Red Bull Ring. It was very much at home there. Strange, because this of course is the homeland of the Nissan GTR. But anyway, we eventually make our way up into 15th position as we head into Degna 1, and we may be able to make an overtake into Degna 2. Bang, contact there, but we make our way through and head under the bridge up towards the hairpin for the first time, and that is up to 14th now, but slower progress in this one. We need to minimize these mistakes. If we run too fast into that slight right-hander, and the issue I'm having is that I'm used to driving this track in a Formula 1 car. Same can be said for the Red Bull Ring, to be fair, but with Suzuka there's so many corners that are easily flat in a Formula 1 car, you don't even think about them, but in an R32 GTR, as good as this car is, it does not have the downforce of an F1 car, and it does not stick through corners that should be very easy. For example, 130R, that becomes somewhat notable braking zone in this car with the speed we're able to carry over the bridge as we head towards 130R. This is a much more challenging corner, but anyway, we are continuing to make our way through the field, and we duck to the left hand side and make a position there. We've moved ourselves up into 11th position by the end of the first lap, so decent progress through the field so far. We continue on then to lap 2, Degna 2, and there's a battle in front of us between the R35 GTR as well as a Porsche 911. We're going to see if we can get up the inside of the Porsche into the right-hander just before the hairpin. We nudge the Porsche back in front of the GTR, and we round up the GTR around the outside, and now slot in behind the Porsche. We'll see if we can get the power down on the exit, the Alfa Romeo 4C just up there, holding up the field just like he was back in Austria. And we will grab both of those positions, and now we've got another GTR in front of us. This is of the AMG variety. Send it up the inside into Spoon, get the job done there, and that moves us up a whole bunch of spots and up into 7th position. So a good start to this one. Let's continue to push on and see what we can do. Hopefully we can move our way further forwards through the field, and we will catch up to more cars as we run along the main straight, move ourselves up into 6th position with a fairly straightforward overtake there in a straight line, and through now the first corner we may have an opportunity to grab another spot as we head around the outside of the Subaru there. We'll see if we can get this done. We may go a little bit in the grass here, but we just about keep control of the thing and keep everything pointing in the right direction. A job done. We're up into P5 now, so good progress through the field, but I'm still, as you can see, struggling a bit with this first kind of sector of the track. Dunlop as well is a particularly difficult corner, and we run wide there again, so yeah, we're still not having a perfect race, still making mistakes here and there. Hopefully it won't be too costly for us in the grand scheme of things. But anyway, we continue to push on. A big contact there. We run into the back of the preceding car. Beastie sounding thing that, but we get through and move ourselves up into 4th. So good progress. I'm hoping to get at least 3rd, and then even then we will probably have to win Dragon Trail to make sure we win the championship. That is assuming we have the same front runners as the previous race. I'm not sure. I wasn't paying too much attention, but anyway, bit of a moment through 130R there. Tippy getting in a bit early, but anyway, we make the move around the outside into the Casio triangle, we should be able to get through here, as I think we may have been a little close to the grass there on the left-hand side, but nonetheless, we make the move and up onto the podium for us into third position. So with a lap to go, there may be a chance at P2. We move on to 130R on the final lap, and we are closing in. This is going to have to be a mega dive. We go late on the brakes down the inside, but we're just never going to stop this car at that speed. And we run very deep. We almost T-bone them as we come back onto the circuit. And yeah, that was never going to happen. But no harm done. We get away with it. And we now head towards the line. And we're going to finish in P3 for this one. So not bad, could have been better, but either way we still come away with a decent haul of points, and in the standings that puts us 4 points ahead of both Fraga in the 97 Supra and Kokubun in the RE Amamiya RX-7. That's a bit of a tongue twister. So the minimum we need to do is finish second to either of them. Of course, race victory is always a target, so let's see what we can do in the final race at Dragon Trail. Alrighty, here we go then, we're underway, and what a spectacular backdrop we have. The headlights are on, we're in the shadow of the mountains here in Croatia, and the massive mountains they are spectacular. But let's focus down on the circuit and get into the action here. Down the inside into the first corner, on already making a move up into 15th position. Of course, Fraga and Kokubun have the advantage of starting closer to the front of the pack, but anyway, making another move now down the inside and taking to the curb there, up on two wheels, off into the gravel, the grass, and we'll eventually bump our way back onto the circuit. But that was a moment for us. Hopefully we don't have too many more of those. That was a little bit wild for first lap move, but we just about get away with it, and we can continue to push on. But that got the heart racing. Now back into focus mode, and we'll squeeze through there around the outside, and bit of contact with the Audi, but we managed to get away with it, and now shift our attention to the field ahead. Let's see what we can do here. Dragon Trail is a decent track for overtaking, quite a few heavy braking zones, huge lunge down the inside there, and I believe this is a track, as we cut that one a bit, slowed it down too much, the car just absolutely whipped into that corner. But anyway, it was just getting a little bit too keen, but we will push on. And this is probably the trickiest part of the circuit. It reminds me a lot of the swimming pool in Monaco, as we go a little bit wide on the second part of that. But it's a very tight little bus stop style chicane there. But anyway, we've made our way through, and now we head towards the final major corner of the circuit. And we may be able to make a move here around the outside. We'll switch to the inside. There's a gap there, and we take it as we bump over the curb. That sends us very wide. The curbs here feel as high as the mountains that surround the circuit, but we are going to have to learn to avoid those because that's the second time they've sent us wide. We managed to keep it on the circuit this time, but anyway, we need to be aware of those. But anyway, we now are up into 10th position at the end of the first lap, so decent progress. Bang into the back of the GTR there, and heavy contact, so there goes our clean race bonus if we were didn't lose that from the Audi contact. But anyway, we won't worry about that too much. The championship is what's important here, sending it through that very high speed right hander that is on the limb at that corner. But anyway, we are getting so close to that inside wall there. You don't want to clip that because your car will just come to a dead stop and you'll cost yourself so much time. But anyway, up the inside of the Porsche we get through, and now into the braking zone, and we'll have to actually keep fighting this one out. We actually lose that position briefly. We'll get back past though, as the AMG helps us out by holding up the Porsche. So the two German cars not doing each other any favours as we make our way past both of those. We continue on then, and we now have our sights set on 6th position, and very soon we'll have our sights set on 5th. Easy pass along the straight, and that is a job done up into 6th. So the progress has been reasonably quick through this one, so let's hope that can continue up to 4th position, 5th position rather, as we enter the braking zone at the other end of the circuit, and that is P5 now. So we can start to focus on the drivers we are directly racing in the championship, because the driver in front of us is actually Kokubun. He is stuck behind is actually his fellow Japanese driver Miyazono, but we're going to grab both of them on the exit of the chicane there, carrying a lot more speed than the pair of them, and that moves us up and into third position in this race. And now our focus is on Fraga. Dive down the inside into the first corner, and we move ourselves up and into second position, and that is a job done. If you don't know, some of the drivers in this race, such as Fraga and Miyazono, are actually esports, Gran Turismo esports champions, which is really cool. I like that as a nice touch. In fact, Fraga himself has some real life racing experience. He was in Formula 3 a couple of years ago. He drove for the Charus team, so that's the thing. That's quite cool. Yeah, but real racing drivers in the game. But anyway, we're right behind Fraga now on the final lap of the race, so we're going to be scrapping this one out all the way to the line with Fraga, but we get around the outside through the first few corners, and we move ourselves ahead of the Brazilian, and that's got us up into first position in this final race. Like I said, second with Fraga in the lead. It would still be good enough for us as we continue to cut it fine through the right-hander there, but Fraga is still close. We head now through this chicane, and like I said, this is the most difficult part of the lap, and we're a bit late on the brakes, and we're very deep, slamming sideways into the wall there on the exit. And now Fraga is gaining and gaining in a straight line. We're going to block the inside line and make sure Fraga cannot get past. He gives us a bump that loses some momentum for him, and we remain ahead of the Brazilian. One major corner to go now into the braking zone, and we'll round this one. Fraga is not going to give up. Bit of contact through the final corner. We're a little bit wide. Fraga's up the inside. We're going to be side by side to the line, but we've got more horsepower than the Supra. We're going to come out on top. We're going to cross the line first to win here in Croatia, the Dragon Trail Circuit, with the spectacular mountains all around. Race victory for us, and that will seal the championship as well. This R32 GTR is an absolute machine. What a car, honestly. I just love the handling of this thing. It's just amazing. But anyway, there are the final standings. We get it by quite a gap in the end over Fraga. Kokubun did his best, but unfortunately just didn't quite have the pace in that final one to keep up. So now we will collect our rewards for this championship. Should get a lot of money. I didn't actually mention it, but I did try this championship in a very different car. May or may not have been the Toyota Tundra. It was not good enough, I can tell you that, but I spent a fair bit of money on it. So I cut that whole section out just to avoid the video getting even longer than it already is. 80k going into the bank, and a nice shiny trophy to add to the collection as well. That brings us up into the 400k bracket of money, and we are now rich in Gran Turismo once again. Catalunya Circuit is now unlocked, which is nice, but that is going to bring an end to this one. We have a 1-star roulette ticket, which we might as well spin to finish this one off, so we'll head over and do that as I do the outro. So thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments, and yeah, other than that, I will see you next time. Let's see what we get then from this roulette ticket. Spinning and spinning and spinning, and where will it land? I already know it's gonna be the smallest possible prize there is, isn't it? It's always going to be. I'll see you next time.